Everyone's calling Chud the Builder indefensible after he shot a man. Jayoma, the lawyer who defends Diddy, said it's impossible to defend. Twitter agreed. I can give you his defense in about 10 minutes. Today, we're getting into who is Chud the Builder and what does he do? Is him shooting a black man self-defense? The N-word's place in freedom of speech? Is freedom of speech actually freedom from consequence? The overall situation. Chud the Builder is a small streamer. His clips go massively viral. Hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of views because they're funny, honestly. They are! He doesn't get many live viewers though, around 200. Remember that number. What he does is street interviews. He goes up to people and asks, "Do you believe in free speech?" They say yes. He says, "So can white people say the N-word?" Except he actually says the N-word. He usually does this with black people who predictably do not love that he just said that, even though they confirmed they support free speech 30 seconds ago. The clips that go viral are always some black guy crashing out on him, yelling, "Bro, you can't say that," and his response is always "stop chimping out," which makes it worse every time. Comments on every video are saying one day he's gonna get shot. We all know how this is gonna end. That's part of why it's funny. Now, important context, he's not saying it hatefully at first. He's using a question. Can white people say the N-word? That's different from walking up to someone and calling them a slur directly. There are actually clips of black people saying, "Hell yeah," or "I don't care," and in those situations, he treats them with actual respect, to his credit. But he is absolutely antagonizing people, it's undeniable, and when arguments escalate, he does start saying genuinely hateful things, calling people the hard R directly in a racist way. Does it happen every time? No. Does it happen every stream? I mean, yeah. So it's a little more than just getting emotional once in a blue moon. To be fair, he's getting attacked at that point. He wasn't hateful going in, but it does evolve into it, and that's where the content becomes a bit unnecessary. Still funny though, undeniably. White people don't say the word not because they feel guilty about slavery, man. They don't say it because they know what happens. So watching someone just say it anyway to strangers on camera is genuinely unexpected. That's why prank content exists. That's why this exists. That's why it's funny. The white people clips are honestly funnier where he says it to white people because they unironically cuck for black people. So where does the controversy start? Chud the Builder is now in jail for attempted murder. Same guy, 200 live viewers, attempted murder. Reports say he was out doing his usual thing when an altercation broke out. He actually shot himself and also hit a black man he'd antagonized. He was being attacked at the time and retaliated by shooting. Later reports say he's charged with attempted murder, which, if I remember how that charge works, maybe means the guy didn't die. Unclear, but he did shoot someone. The comments from years ago, one day he's gonna get shot, turns out they were right. Lucky guess. Is it self-defense? That's the debate. Is it self-defense if you antagonize the person? You've got Jayoma, viral defense lawyer, defends Diddy, defends basically the worst people on earth. David, the rapper, saying this is indefensible, the Chud the Builder situation. Which is a funny thing for that guy to say, just noting that. I'm not a lawyer, I want to be upfront about that, but here's my personal philosophy. If you antagonize someone and they physically attack you and you defend yourself, that's self-defense. In any reasonable society, that's what it is. Think about it. You say something provocative, you're not throwing punches, they attack you, you retaliate. Is that not self-defense just because of what you said being offensive? Because that's what people are actually arguing. He said something mean, therefore he can't defend himself. That's not how it works, or at least that's not how it should work. You cannot be beaten near to death for saying a word and have no right to fight back. Self-defense is protecting yourself from physical violence. It doesn't get canceled out by speech, no matter how offensive it was. Should he be in jail? No. Should he be arrested? No. Should he be freed? Yeah. Do I think what he was doing is moral? Probably not. He literally said on stream he antagonizes black people, hoping they'll attack him so he can kill them in self-defense. Whether that is a joke or not, it doesn't help him. If it's not a joke, that is genuine racial hatred, antagonizing someone specifically to get a legal excuse to kill them, that's immoral. But the bigger point still stands. You should be able to defend yourself even if you said something offensive. He said something mean, so getting beat to death? That's fine. Is that actually a take now? Seriously? That's not how a functional society works. The N-word is apparently the worst thing a human being can say. Worse than blasphemy. And a white person saying it, they might as well have signed a death warrant. I can't even say it in this video in the context of explaining what happened. Think about that. What other word is like that? You can blaspheme God. You can say the R slur. Can't on YouTube, granted, but in real life you won't lose your job. You can say the F slur in most circles and not be completely exiled from society. Other racial slurs will get you fired, sure, but not totally casted out of society. But the N word? You're the worst person alive. Most normies who will freely use every other slur won't touch the N word, and they're not even black. They'll say everything else but that one, off limits. And if you say it in any context, a black person can apparently do whatever they want to you. And that's just fine. Now look, I don't think even if you say it in a genuinely racist way, it's okay for someone to kill you. Is that a hot take? If you walk up to a black person and call them the slur directly and hatefully, okay, yeah, you deserve to get punched. You don't deserve to die. A punch, though? Understandable. If someone called me a cracker to my face, I'd react too. That's not chimping out. That's called having a spine. But there's this notion that if you say the word while singing a song, or reading something aloud, or making a joke, you deserve death, firing, cancellation. And if a black person beats you to death over it, you're somehow in the wrong. That's where I'm out. Context matters. That's my whole argument. Words have meaning. I'm not saying it's just a word, because that's stupid and words clearly do have meaning and effect on people. But the meaning depends on the context. That's true for every word that exists. The N-word has two meanings. The soft A version is completely different from what slave owners used. And even the hard R, how hateful it is, depends entirely on how you are using it. You stupid fucking N-word to someone's face? Hateful. You kinda deserve to get punched for that. In a joke, in a song, in a discussion, you'll survive. I promise you will not die from hearing that word in a non-hateful context, or even a hateful one. People use the history argument. Okay, yeah, but then explain why the R slur and the F slur get context passes. Black people say the F slur more than almost anyone. By that same logic, that's also immoral. So now we're just purity spiraling. Context matters for every slur except somehow this one. Any context doesn't matter. You've signed away your right to exist. That's ridiculous. Chud the Builder gets arrested for attempted murder. He said a word. He defended himself from a physical attack. He got charged. And now you've got white liberals jumping in to be offended on behalf of black people. Take your own side, pal. At least the black people being angry are being angry for themselves. White liberals are out here going, well, you did say that word, bro. It's the softest thing imaginable. The whole conversation collapses into the phrase everyone loves. Freedom of speech isn't freedom from consequences, man. How many times have we heard this used to justify the most violent responses to speech? Think back to Charlie Kirk's assassination, and how many people responded with that exact phrase. He said something, he got killed. What did he expect, man? That's where we are. Now with Chud, they can attempt to murder you. And when you defend yourself, that's the crime. The attack on you isn't illegal, your defense is. Not only can they give you consequences for speech, you can't even legally fight back. Let me actually define freedom of speech. Not having it means the law is used against you for speaking. Simple definition. You can say things without the government punishing you. So freedom of speech isn't freedom of consequences, man? Fine, but if saying a word gets you killed so frequently that nobody dares say it, do you actually have freedom of speech? Technically, yes. Functionally, no. And when the legal system starts punishing you for defending yourself after being attacked for speech, now the law is involved, and now you've crossed the line into not actually having it. Donald Trump didn't have freedom of speech. The President of the United States got deplatformed, lawfared, had an election rigged against him, not for being too soft on immigration, which might be our criticisms, for being too harsh on illegal immigrants. The most powerful man in the country didn't have freedom of speech against illegal immigrants. You have freedom of speech, but post it online and lose your job, get banned everywhere, get blacklisted. You can't exercise that freedom. Miss me with that. I know some mouth-breathing dipshit is going to respond to the Charlie Kirk thing with, killing him was illegal, and the guy got arrested. You're missing the point. The point is society celebrated it with that clause. That is the point. When someone gets killed for speech and the response is, freedom of speech isn't freedom of consequences, that's where we are. With Chud, say something offensive, get attacked, defend yourself, get arrested. The attacker faces nothing. You face attempted murder. America's a joke. It seriously is. Majority white country, majority Christian country, founded on white Christian values. I believe 10 of the 13 original colonies required a declaration of faith. And now if you're a white Christian and forgot to pay your taxes, you're a felon. While people enter this country illegal, or blacks can commit actual crimes and get amnesty or get off with insanity. Your president got his election stolen, got lawfare, got deplatformed, doesn't even have freedom of speech. Do you think you do? You say something wrong, attempted murder charges. Okay, that's actually not okay. Yeah, those are my thoughts on Chud the Builder. Make sure you like and subscribe. We're going to be making more videos like this.